Hi, you're listening to Navigating the Truth. It's July 9th, and my guest is Karen-ann-Macdonald, and we are discussing the Genius Insight Biofeedback, amongst other things. Sit back and enjoy.
Interrupt to bring you this.
We've hijacked your daily dose of regurgitated news to bring you Navigating the Truth. Brace yourself, listeners, as you're about to enter a world where the narrative is no longer masqueraded as the truth. A world where the conspiracies of yesterday's translate into the truths of today.
Are you listening?
The veils covering the truth are lifting, and understandings once suppressed are finally being revealed. Will you be ready? And now, your host and navigator through these circles of lies, the host of Navigating the Truth, Caroline Bell Tumblety.
Hi, welcome to Navigating the Truth. It is July the 9th, and it is a nice sunny evening here in Scotland. I'm not sure what the weather is in Las Vegas or where my guest is, but I'm hoping that you are all having a great day. And I'd like to thank the listeners who have chosen to listen in today. And my website is souliam.org. I have a YouTube channel. It's still relatively new. I'm still figuring it all out. I mean, I've had the channel forever, I think 2009, but have only just started uploading. So it is Caroline Bell Tumblety, and that's the YouTube channel. I'm on Facebook. Don't use it a lot, but you can find me, Caroline Bell Tumblety. And let's see, I have an awesome guest with me today. And I have Karen. And see, every time I see your middle name, I want to say Lucky, but it's not.
It's not.
No, it's not. But it's something my
could
brain
lucky,
does. Yeah, my brain kind of switches the lettering around. But it's Karen-ann, is it Lucy? Is that how you pronounce it? Lucy Macdonald. And Karen is a dynamic and passionate peace activist and enjoys sharing the miracles of using the Genius Insight Biofeedback and seeing people recover their lives, their auras, and health. Physical, emotional, and mentally expand. I am a pioneer, forefront of the quantum health movement, as seen on hundreds of talks, radio, video, and medical summits, setting up holistic and integrative medical centers. International Quantum University for Integrative Medicine, SCIO, and Omniuniversity Genius Biofeedback. RIFE, PEMF, OBS, CBS, Vsteam, Colonic, Detox, herb oils, massage, quantum frequency, Tera, HZ, energy distance, scalar healing, iridology, blood radionics, RET, and NICO, holistic nurse, Vedras, shaman, and 13th clanmara. Now, I have another bio of Karen's that I got a little later. So I'm going to read this one off. Karen arrived in Kamloops, 1964, grew up in Saskatoon, interior decorating Saskatoon. I'm terrible at pronunciation, so bear with me, listeners. Thank you so much. 1980 to 87, attending University of Saskatchewan, 1982. Miss Saskatoon, runner-up, 1982. SIAST, Kesley Technical College of Nursing, 1987. Registered Nurse and Nurses Union Representative, Royal University Hospital, NICU. Neonatal, ICU Postpartum, 1987 to 2001. And there's a whole lot of letters here. It's QBS, CHT, CBS, PEMF, Scalar, RIFE, Radionics, Aroma Care, Quantum Medicine, it's IQM University, Specialty Biofeedback, Hawaii, Omni University, Vancouver, University of Saskatchewan. Natural health training includes biowarfare, herbology, aromatherapist, massage, reflexology, scalar ideology, kinesiology, matrix energy medicine, Reiki, prana, yoga, heirloom gardening, shaman, alchemy, crystal spring water protection. Karen has passionately been pursuing freedom and peace, protection of children in courts from 1987 to the present. From mind control MK Ultra, the unlawful abductions of tribal clan and international star nations children. The removal of vaccines, smart meters, non-taxation, questioning and refusal to submit to the draconian Illuminati judges and lawyers in the Saskatchewan, Canada, provincial and Queen's Bench courts led to gained and following despite a news media blackout on her and her children before the Corpus Juris Secundum judges had no jurisdiction on her as a clan tribe mother with higher authority and having them understand her openly, now accepting and validating her positions such as tribal judge Alfred Weber GD at peaceinspace.org. Okay, so that is quite there's more to the bio. Let me see here. Does in-depth decolonization of her clients, including off-grid teaching up on reserves coast to coast and using spring living photonic sound water as a healing in enemas, colon, hydrotherapy and plant ormus, minerals, scalar, RIFE, radionics and magnetics. The newest yoni, ligum, root chakra, earth shattering, third eye opening, prostate, brazen vagina, steams, pearl heads, suppositories or tampons, once hidden secrets for emotional to sexual and ritual, PDST for creation. Radiation and now developing excellent protocols with Dr. Erio Policano, I believe that's the one with the Genius Biofeedback, and Ryan Williams. You've got Patty Bessard tackling vaccination damage to Lyme and Morgellons with success. Recently researching and developing Lyme, tick and coronavirus antidotes on simple iPhone pad tap app called Genius Biofeedback using sound and biotropic scalar, RIFE and somatics. Pulsed electronic magnetic radio wave PEMF and dismantling it. And I'd like to welcome you to Navigating the Truth. Oh, everything's shut down. Oh, that's typical. Anyways, quite the bio. You're back. I think you're back. Are you back, Karen?
Oh my gosh, I hope so.
It's kind of typical, right? Just ready to go live and everything goes.
I have no idea. Everything locked down, literally. I was like, okay.
Well, I'd like to welcome you to Navigating the Truth, and I thank you very much for being my guest. That was quite the bio. The one that I had on the website of the radio station was nothing compared to the one that you sent me. And it's, yeah, you've been at this a long time.
Correct. Yeah. I think I was like born into this, you know. I said, I know what I came in with a contract. I doubt it. But I think it was like a voluntold or something. I don't know. But yeah, I've had a phenomenal, I remember my father saying to me, he goes, you've had like more lifetimes in one lifetime than anyone else I know. So, you know, just the amount of events, occurrences, contacts. Yeah. It just exposures, the experiences, you know, so. Yeah, I'd say quite the experiencer for sure. Yeah.
Oh yeah, like, no, I know that you actually travel around coast to coast, and it does say that on your bio. And I think I mentioned this to you the other day. There, I had actually watched a video that you had put up with a gentleman named Larry.
Oh, correct. Yeah, I love Larry.
Yeah, like I think, is he in his 80s? I think he said he was. I can't remember.
Just celebrated he's on his 85th year now, but yeah, he just celebrated his 84th day he was born or something around the solar system. But he's an amazing man. I've known him before in the Kootenays mountains here, what you call Slocan Valley, or we're by the Sinaic tribes. People think it's British Columbia, but they're mistaken. But no, I had the pleasure of knowing Larry for about 13 years on and out here. And he's actually got a vast background. He was like in the Army, he was a lieutenant in the Navy, and he was part of the Judge Advocate General. He's a JAG lawyer.
Wow.
So, you know, to be with people of that caliber, and we've spent a lot of time, he is basically, as he says, a walk-in. He walked into that body, you know, about 70 years ago. And it's amazing to listen to people like him because he said he was Moses.
Yeah.
And,
I heard him say that.
Yeah, and also to do with like Sir Edmund Spenser and the Shepherd's Calendar and Shakespeare and all sorts of stuff. And he's a classical pianist, like it just comes naturally to him as well, and Chopin. But I was listening to him, and he came up to me and he said, "You realize your coat of arms, you're actually a clan mother." He says, "I can defend this, Karen." He says, "I can defend your case." He says, "You know, I can be one of your supporters and protectors, and not on my watch is anything going to happen." And so we've been going through it. And even with the, we'll just say the, you know, alleged virus or whatever, but we actually were going back through Shakespeare and a lot of the Da Vinci codes. And if you want, go to Galactic Goddess TV and just put my ID in there. And you'll see that I did a bunch years ago with Raja. And I did a whole bunch of demos, just sat down in the basement. And she says, "Show me how these things operate." So I showed people how to do Yoni Steam, how to do this, how to do that, how to make a tea, how to, you know, the biofeedback, what you can do with an enema bag. And then I haven't done anything for years. And she says, "I need some more help back." So we started doing biofeedback. And I said, "You got to listen to this one." And Larry says, "I just want to get this out. I just want to get this out, you know, at the end of my life, and get this kind of information." And we were able to show through some of the decodings that this was actually, the pandemic was planned. We've already got tracked to like, and we know it's been for thousands of years in the making, but it's on the Frenzas, on the stuff with Da Vinci, and some of the stuff going back to the 1600s. And it's actually on a sort of a castle. And I'm like, you know, people think, oh yeah, this is just, it's been a long time. Well, it's actually in their paintings.
Oh yeah.
And you can see the 19 spikes. You can see all this, and it's quite amazing. But yeah, my coat of arms on Lucyk, and you did that fairly well. A lot of people confuse it with Lucky. I'm not sure why, but it's Lucyk. And my Baba, Adwana, she came in from what you call Horodanka in the Tartarian area, or Russian, or what people think is Ukraine. And in there, that coat of arms is phenomenal because it shows the peacock and it shows the crown of the clan mothers, the original true hereditary lineages. And it's almost like a navigation map as well. So it goes right out to the galactics.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
It doesn't surprise me. Yeah. No.
Yeah. We're not from here.
No, we're definitely not from here. And it's becoming more and more apparent as the days unfold. The thing about Larry that I thought was really fascinating was his ability to look at the coat of arms, and actually he was able to focus in on elements there and see images that are actually painted into it. And only with that kind of critical eye would you even see it. Like the minute he brought my attention as I was watching it to that, I was able to see it.
Right.
I think it's fascinating. Yeah.
Yeah. I did a lot with Sergeant Patty Broussard years ago at Project Ascension. And so you saw a lot of us doing some of those decodes, and like Larry's involved with an organization called the ECK, or Eckankar Masters, in the Hue. And it's interesting because when the super soldiers, Max Spars, before he demised, he had said the only thing that scares the archons and the dark entities is the sound of Hue. Anyway, so it's yeah. Anyway,
yeah,
so,
let's all do that.
yeah. Instead of the Om, it's the Hue. Anyway, so but Larry was amazing. He's traveled all over the world. You know, he's been in so many countries. He's lived in England, down in Mexico now, and more importantly, what he's able to show is that all the stuff in the Bible to do with Moses and stuff is actually in Mexico and in Guatemala. And those names and those pyramids and everything else here, and those pharaohs were actually talking about places in Central and South America. And so through the Book of Mormon and the Pearl of Great Price, that is extra books of Moses, and there's the books 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. And then I'm sitting on a gold mine. So many years ago, I was gifted a set of books and introduced to the concepts. And you can see just the preliminaries of it. We talked about it at Project Incension on YouTube and Rumble.
Mm-hmm.
But more importantly, is people could Google Mr. Meredith Quinn and just put in tribal laws, Mr. Meredith Quinn. And what you'll see is that we all come from a clan or a tribe, unless you're in a petri dish, but or something along that line, or cybernetic. But for the majority of us, we come from a clan or a tribe. And it talks about how they came from the stars or the star nations, or what that really was. It's not the United Nations, it was the star nations and those councils. And some people might call it the Andromeda Council, the Council of 5, the Council of 9, the Council of 12, whatever it might be. But those galactics came in and they formed treaties. And those treaties were done with the tribes. And the head of every nation is a clan mother. And that really would have been, to me, the old hags or the old Hague court. That really what the peace court was about. And they're the only ones authorized to this very day to make a treaty or the proclamations. And it was all matriarchal, and it was done in conjunction with men. It's the only balanced form of, if you want to say, governing or how to live, or the rules of, thou shall, the commandments for living from the Creator, is that it was with men. They appointed all the men. And so it was always men and women. But the difference is that the women appointed the men if they did not perform, if they did not guard, if they failed to live up to the rules of the, tribe, then they were just removed. It was none of this, we're going to vote in 51% or 65% for the shares of the Corporation of Canada or the USA. But, Larry's been really instrumental. And then, there's a lot of people too, as you saw, he was on oxygen. And there's something that I hadn't seen him for like probably about 6 to 8 years. And they heard I was in the area again and that they came to meet with me. And I've been so involved with everything else, like the child protection. And then also, once this hit, I actually went on vacation with one of my children into what's called the Okanagan. And I thought I was gone for a week and a half, just go out to the Okanagan and the houseboat capital of the world and go see the, orchards and meet up with some friends and then come back. But what happened is that, thank gosh, I had everything packed up with me, is that people started dropping. They couldn't get out of bed. And then I knew right away it was contact vaccinosis, because I'd been dealing with that already in Saskatoon since this whole wick-wack thing went off the deep end. And so I did have the vials. So I started putting together really in-depth, really awesome protocols. And so you have to basically combine that. And because I've got a 40-year nursing background, and of course, I haven't been in the allopathic system for decades. Even though I was a neonatal nurse and I was the head of 1,200 nurses, like the head of the union there. And what happened is that I could see what was going down. And I had one of the few first state-of-the-art quantum biofeedback, but, it was a SCIO. Then, we went way more advanced with Ryan Williams, who was involved in that movement. But he developed 33 technologies, and he made this Genius Insight Health app biofeedback. And then the Odyssey came out, and then wearable PEMF. So I don't need to go into a room. I don't need to be in an enclosed thing. I don't need to have $100,000 worth of technology, because it's wearable for a couple $100. And he was genius, like literally in a sense. He was former South African Army and military. And so he worked with the likes of Dr. Bill Nelson, who worked, in conjunction off the Apollo 13 NASA projects. And so Ryan got this together, and we can interface any phone. Your phone, whether it's Tina or you, Carolyn, or anyone in the audience, your phone, an iPad, or a simple tablet could be interfaced with this software, and bang, you've got Royal RIFE, you've got scalar wave technology. You can hook it up to Tesla oscillating vortex plates. And for hundreds of dollars, even at the basics, putting the fractals in, putting the sounds in, like Dr. Emoto, using that kind of technology, and bang, I can send the radionics to anywhere around the planet. And I do. I see clients still, daily and do consults. So, we can scan for you. And I help develop a lot of those libraries: Lyme's, Morgellons, bioterrorism, radiation, contamination and spills. So I've been doing a lot of colleague and co-professional development and projects with the likes of Dr. Gary Young.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, he's absolutely amazing. So I send a lot of people to, if you don't know who Dr. Robert Young is, you do. The other one you got to put on the map is Dr. Robert Morse, because we're doing really innovative things. So I actually do my technology, and we take your blood out first, just a single drop or two, and look at it under the live blood cell. We do our therapies, and I'm really imprinting them into water. Water is the universal solvent, not the oils, not the herbs, not the salts, not these $100 of supplements. And you can get spring water anywhere. So this is actually where I'm focusing on, rather than hooking people up, because these people that have been graphinated, which is almost everyone these days, you can't use that, right? So
right, yeah. I like that, because I think the hands-on, the way that you're approaching it is, I think it's very beneficial, and I think we gotta not lose the things that already worked. You know what I mean? Amplify them, bring them more to the forefront, because a lot of this stuff people can do for themselves.
Absolutely.
Right.
And it takes their power back into their hands. I don't have a driver's license. I don't have a health card. I don't belong to Canada. I don't belong to BC. I don't belong to Saskatchewan. I don't belong to anyone. And when people become sustainable, it allows you, like a scale, you could step on a scale, but you could do your own, biofeedback or bioscan or whatever you want to call it through biosound. And I can actually imprint things and send them all over the world. So why would we not want to do that? That is so cost effective. It eliminates me having to go to a chiropractor, a naturopath, traditional Chinese medicine is in there. I have almost every brand, every different kind of oil, aromatherapy, even the people that are plating things out. And this whole idea of doing a spike protac, that's what I have everyone on, and nitric oxide and testing your pH, because it's simple things that are really not that expensive, to get into.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, definitely. The pH is important. Yeah.
Yeah, so, if people want to look at some of my stuff, they can Google me. I'm on Rumble. I've got my own Karen-ann-Lucyk. Just go to the live streams on YouTube still. I've got Facebook and everything else. But if they want to see the basics to what I'm talking about, they can just simply go to insighthealthapps.com and take a look at it. Because, Ryan actually gives a 2-week beginner use for anyone. And we have one on the Odyssey and one there. So you get almost 3 weeks if you want to play with this kind of stuff. And just put your voice in, your picture, and boom. You got it.
Yeah.
We don't have to be charging $300-$400 per session for people. And I stripped everything, quite frankly, out of the old SCIO. And we have gone like light years behind the technology that I had, even through the IQ-UAM. But yeah, I mean, it's time to have fun and put it back in our hands, right?
I think so. I think it's overdue. I think it's way overdue. And can you believe it? We are coming up on our first break. So I want to thank the listeners, and we will be right back in 3 minutes. Thank you.
Thank you.
You're listening to Navigating the Truth with Caroline Bell Tumblety, where the truth survives and the lies are exposed.
I just want to assure you that everything is under control. There's been no damage except for some temporary malfunction of the radio.
Come be a part of this awakening by joining us in chat or by calling our hotline at 702-425-9230. That's 702-425-9230. Worldwide callers, find us on Skype at KCOR Radio.
We're pushing the ultimate frontier here.
Control must be maintained.
More disinformation exposed and the truth discovered. After a word from our sponsors.
1 million miles till midnight. A story of timelines, artificial worlds, simulated races, and the galactic imprint. And the destiny of a blue world called Earth. 1 million miles till midnight, written by Solaris Blue Raven, is a journey through the mind's eye which allows the reader to surf a wave of technological and multidimensional intellect, revealing a bridge between conscious design and the truth. A multidimensional bleed-through awakens the world of artificial intelligence to set sail into the frontiers of a vast multiverse, morphing planets and terraforming ascended worlds beyond the linear programs of a fated race. 1 million miles till midnight will awaken, inspire, prepare, and enlighten one to the many multidimensional states of consciousness and worlds we reside in. With every cell and atom, we are this truth and multiverse. 1 million miles till midnight. Written by Solaris Blue Raven. Available now at Amazon.com. Don't wait. Get your copy today.
1, 2, 3, 4.
To the KCOR Digital Radio Network.
I love the way it sounds.
Love the music. I listen all day.
The future of radio is here and now.
Alien Deceptions, a suspenseful sci-fi romance thriller by Tina Marie, featuring the tantalizing Erica Jones and the mysterious Russell Hamilton. An out-of-this-world book of fiction based on years of document facts and files the government does not want you to know about, at least not yet. Alien Deceptions by Tina Marie. Available now at Amazon.com or get a signed copy at TinaMarieEntertainment.com. Get your copy now.
Change your frequency, change your life with the Lemurian Plug. The Lemurian Plug is easy to control, simple to set up, and wireless. It helps to neutralize toxins and has restorative frequencies for healing. It also helps to protect you and your family from EMFs. The Lemurian Plug is energy efficient and designed using ancient technology for a superior design. One unit can cover up to 1,000 square feet. This life-changing product is reasonably priced. And isn't your family's health worth a small investment? For more information on the miraculous effects of this plug or to purchase the Lemurian Plug, visit thelemurianplug.com. That's thelemurianplug.com. The Lemurian Plug is like nothing you've ever experienced. Order yours today.
Vegas, baby.
Vegas' #1 source for talk and new music.
How cool is that?
Going live in 3, 2, 1.
Welcome back to Navigating the Truth, the one show that peels back the masks of the elite and exposes the truth we're not being told.
Here to warn you. You must not abuse the power you've been given. Eventually, you will lose control of that power and the whole world will suffer.
Come partake in the awakening by calling the show at 702-425-9230. That's 702-425-9230.
Give us a call now.
Those around the world, connect with us on Skype at KCOR Radio. Follow us on Twitter at KCOR Radio or use hashtag KCOR. Come engage in the discussion live in our chat room at www.kcorradio.com.
Our survival depends upon it.
Now, back to examining the narratives and uncovering the truth with your host of Navigating the Truth, Caroline Bell Tumblety. Caroline Bell Tumblety.
Hello and welcome back to Navigating the Truth on this lovely Sunday afternoon, and I have the awesome Karen-ann. I'm gonna mess this up again.
Lucyk.
Lucyk, thank you, Macdonald, and we are having a chat about Karen's life and all the twists and turns that it has taken, and also the determination, like to put like your activism, your determination to bring certain things to the forefront. And you had mentioned that you had went to see the movie Sound of Freedom.
Correct. Yeah, I just was at it last night with friends.
Yeah. So talk to me about that. Talk to me what that felt like for you.
Well, you know, it was funny because a few people, very, very few people know my actual background and what got me into all of this holistics and international law, you know, getting off the system and really going back to your original ancestors' roots, those treaties, customs, usages, and laws. And what started for me, and I was just actually on Project Camelot with Carrie Cassidy talking a little bit about it, and it was totally impromptu. Carrie and I were just going to have a talk and get to know each other, and it was not due for airing, but we decided to roll the cameras. And she asked a pivotal question, and she said, and it was the way she put it. I said, the reason I got into this was because of my children. They started making disclosures about pedophiles and circles and satanic rituals and kittens and stuff being killed and all sorts of stuff. And I was just like, I could use your word out there, gobsmacked. I've been listening to Gordon Ramsay lately.
Yeah, right.
I'm gobsmacked. It's my new passion at night. You know, like you got to like turn the brain off from this stuff. As you can see, it's pretty deep. But you know, then I got into learning what the children were saying, and of course, I went into the courts. And of course, my ex, John Paul Kwok, was a lawyer. The children were telling me that members of the Law Society, that they had seen them, you know, stripped naked and all sorts of weird stuff. And I'm like, holy crap, this sounds like Caligula and like, you know, whatever. And so I went to try and get into child protection. I tried all those things. And of course you know, this is a custody thing. And I said, no, the children are disclosing this. They're coming back with reddened vaginas. They're coming back with marks. Things are not adding up. You know, they're supposed to be there and they're not there. And I you know, and then you start investigating. And so by that point, and it was a couple of years later, actually, there was a huge case just outside of Saskatoon, as you know, in the provincial court of Saskatchewan. It was called the Martinsville case. So that was our Kathy O'Brien, Transformation of America, Tavistock stuff, MK Ultra, everything that was all involved, bang, right there in one. And my children were talking about the same stuff. I just didn't realize it. So it wasn't until about 10 years later, I ran into former constable RCMP officer who was the lead investigator, Claudia Bryden. And there's stuff on the CBC and Satanic Panic all about what's happening in these sleepy little bedroom, you know, communities out in the prairies. And it was these underground satanic rituals connected to the DUMBs, to the deep underground military bases. And so this is and you're going back, like when I learned about this is 1996, 97. This is huge. And I'm like, oh my gosh, like, I mean, I knew what we were up against. And then, you know, the connections to the Vatican, to the churches, to the governments, the deep state. This was a huge international cartel that's bigger than the drug trafficking. And then you start learning it goes on and off the planet. Then they go targeting not just the First Nations up here, of which there are 12. So it's not anything to do with, you know, Aboriginals or Native. It actually is about the bloodlines they're after, which is what led me down that thing to contacting. So one day I went to, it was called Protecting the Sacred at Lillooet, which is north of Kamloops. And of course, that's very famous because I was brought in with all the clans, all the tribes, the hereditaries, and I'd taken all of Meredith Quinn's stuff. And I really invite people, if they want, they can get a hold of me at my email. And one of them is clanmother13@gmail with a K, by the way, not C. And what happens is that I'm sitting with 1,700 pages. These are like the missing books of the Bible. These were hand done down since all time immemorial. And this is like the Dakota Indians, which are really one of the Council of 12, which would be one of your almost like Palladian groups. And their clan mothers gave me their stuff. But the Bear Clan stuff is in there. The Egyptian history, all that stuff. It's so pivotal to what's going on today. Even to the virus, the pandemic, the ice age, the pole shift, everything. Because they did agreements by time periods. So from 3130 BC to roughly 2013, that would be a time period, you know, age of Pisces to age of Aquarius, whatever. When this star is in this position, that star's in that position, that's how they made agreements. And so once the children got into making the disclosures, I went in 2010 to this Protecting the Sacred at Lillooet. I was taken to the mass graves of the children outside of Kamloops that supposedly Queen Elizabeth had done a royal hunting party, and the hunting party was the children. And they never came back. So there was a huge thing that was done by murder by decree and all sorts of things. I was involved with every little group at that point and seeing what we could do. And you could see that the trafficking, the organ trafficking, the adrenochrome trafficking, everything was connected to this. Everything. So, I mean, I've had my eyes into this and, you know, looking at what they're doing with the trafficking for a long time. And, you know, we were just talking to one of the girls yesterday and I said, you know, where are you at? Oh, what's child trafficking? Well, do you know about the adrenochrome? No. Do you know about the frazzle drip? No. Do you know about this? Do you know about that? So when you talked a little bit about, you know, the, and I didn't see my children for about 12 or 13 years. Oh, my. And I was actually charged twice with 2 counts of abduction of tried to save and protect my own children in the courts, because they were actually, there was a gun apparently. John had shot at near Alex's head. The stuff that was happening to Allison, undescribable. So they went and actually sealed it. Even though I had joint custody with him, I never saw my children for years, and they sealed the file down. They put a lockdown on it. There's like a gag order. And so I never got past that. So I got rid of all the lawyers, did my own stuff, and then, started getting into how does this law work. So I actually went to Kamloops in 2013, and I went to put a...
Hi, thank you for listening to Navigating the Truth, and my special guest was Karen-ann-Macdonald. If you would like to hear the interview in its entirety, please go to kcrradio.com. Thank you.